Good evening and welcome to an event at which we celebrate the class of 2017. I'm Dr. Sabatini, principal at Northern Valley Regional High School at Old Tappan. And before we hear from our first speaker, we'd like to take a moment to express our appreciation to the NVOT Commencement Band under the direction of Miss Amy Wilcox and the NVOT Choir under the direction of Miss Leslie McPherson. Our instrumental and choral groups generate outstanding music on numerous occasions throughout the school year. Thank you as well to the Supervisor of Buildings and Grounds, Mr. Tom Mullen, Head of Maintenance at NVOT, Mr. John Kohler, and his crew for the outstanding work they do in taking care of our campus. Special thanks to Assistant Principal Dr. Hyman, Director of Guidance Mr. Spatz, Lead Counselor Ms. Hubbard for their dedication and commitment, and a very special thank you and best wishes to Mr. Rebello, consummate, professional, and dedicated administrator, and best wishes in his future. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce our Superintendent of Schools. Please welcome Dr. Jeffrey Gordon.
Thank you and good evening. So before I begin, I think we all know that I told these students the other day in the senior awards, and I told them I was going to say it here, and I am going to say it here. You're looking at the best graduating class in the United States of America sitting right here. I have enough gray hair, and I've been at the #1 rated school, New Jersey Monthly, as principal and superintendent, and at one of the top 5 schools in the country with Intel semifinalists. So I'm going to say it again, because not only should they be so proud, but all of you as well. Sitting here is the best graduating class in the United States of America. Before I begin, if I could just preface my brief remarks with asking all of our board members, administrators, and outstanding faculty to just stand up, because I think we all would agree with this class and the results they've had some help, and how about honoring all of them? Please stand. So along those lines, in 2013, Dr. Rogers gave a great speech. And I'm not going to impart any words of wisdom, because I think you've earned everything you've gotten to be here, and you know what you have to do, and you know what we expect you to do, what all of us expect you to do. So Dr. Rogers had a great speech and a great comment, because he talked about helpers. And what he said was, just as I mentioned to you, your teachers and administrators, all of whom have done small things to help you, and one of the things that makes you the best class in the United States is what you've done to help each other. Dr. Rogers told a story. It was the twilight of his life, and he said that when he was a young boy, his mother used to tell him when he got scared of monsters or animals that frightened him, that he shouldn't be afraid, because he should look for the helpers. And Mr. Rogers went on to talk about who the helpers were and what they were. And basically what he said was, no matter how difficult times are, and no matter how bleak things seem, there's always hope, because there's always someone willing to help. So I'm going to challenge you not only to continue the great things that you've done so far, and you have, but I'm also going to challenge each and every one of you to be one of the helpers that Dr. Rogers spoke about. I'm going to challenge you to bring the kind of hope to people when there's hopelessness. I'm going to challenge you to bring hope to children when they don't have very much other than hope. I'm going to challenge you to bring hope to older people and senior citizens who may be in homes where people don't remember them. I'm going to challenge you to help your friends and classmates when they're going through difficult times. I'm going to challenge you to help people with special needs. I'm going to challenge you to help anyone who you see, who you know needs the helpers that Dr. Rogers was talking about. And I'm not only going to challenge you to do that, I'm going to challenge you to look for them. You know, when I spoke to all the different teams and everybody when we first started, and all the coaches, I said to you that I don't just expect you to be great student athletes. I mean, between the two high schools, we won 19 state championships in 2 years. We have 1,000 students playing sports at any given season. Just a few days ago, the Bergen County Coaches Association came out for the first time in the history of Bergen County and said there was a tie among two schools for the highest number of championships in Bergen County. Who were the two schools? Northern Valley Old Tappan and Northern Valley Demarest. And we all know how many good schools and top schools there are in this county, and there you are, as usual, and as you've shown yourself to be at the top. But you know, in reaching for being great and in reaching for greatness, there is that piece of what I mentioned to you way back when I said to you at that very first time, if you see someone getting bullied, we don't expect you not to bully them. We expect you to step in and stop them from being bullied. And what happened? You've done not only that, you've elevated. I talked about your teams, the musical. We were sitting in a meeting the other day, and our musical cast was winning award after award at the ceremonies in Rockland County. So it's not just been the academics and getting into the great colleges, but those are the things that you've done. And I'm going to conclude my remarks by telling you this. Don't ever forget how lucky you are. Don't ever forget your families. Don't ever forget your friends. Don't ever forget your teachers. Because there are people who haven't been so lucky. You know, there was a person who just recently passed away who won the Nobel Peace Prize and was an inspiration all throughout the world. His name was Elie Wiesel. He was a survivor of the Holocaust. He said that not only is the enemy of love not hate, the enemy of love is indifference. It's not caring. It's not showing that you have the passion as to what other people need to see that you did to make you the best class in the United States. It's the passion, and it's the work ethic, and it's the caring. And those are the kinds of things. But Elie Wiesel didn't sit in the seats that you're at now. He was in a concentration camp. He was in a cell when he was 16 years old. He was in a cell. He didn't give up hope. When Mr. Rogers spoke of helpers, he didn't stop hoping. He had people, even in those dire circumstances, who gave him hope. And look what he became. He became the conscience of the world by the time he lived a long, long, productive life. And you could say the same thing about so many people. Winston Churchill, who was an alcoholic, who needed help from a lot of people. What did he do? All he did was become the greatest statesman of the 21st century. Not one of the greatest. When the Battle of Britain and the bombings were going on and on and on, he never flinched. He didn't flinch. He stood there while he saw what was going on with buildings and destruction. And he said, we are steadfast, we are resolute, and we will never, never, never give in. And his whole country rallied around him. So those are the kinds of things that we expect out of you. Maybe there won't be a Winston Churchill here, but when my wife and I first moved into Old Tappan, there was a Cory Booker sitting amongst you. United States Senator, that's pretty good. And I can tell you that knowing you, that there is talent in this class, and not just among those of you who will be famous, but among those of you who will do the right things. So as we sit here, I speak for everyone in this audience, your parents, your grandparents, your teachers, and everybody else, and saying to you, as you've achieved this first milestone, it's not enough. We expect more, and we know you're going to do it.
Thank you, Dr. Gordon, for your years of dedicated service at Northern Valley. Dr. Gordon, Business Administrator, Ms. Femia, Mr. Spatz, Ms. Battaglia, Board of Education members, Mr. Scatino, Mr. Jamgochian, faculty, staff, family, and friends of the class of 2017. To the class of 2017, congratulations on your many outstanding achievements. You've set goals, demonstrated a consistent work ethic, established priorities, and persevered through adversity, and brought honor to yourselves, your families, and our communities. I'm very proud to stand before you tonight to honor this class. September 3rd, 2013 was indeed a special day, a day I'll certainly always remember. That was the day these young men and women formally entered the halls of NVOT as ninth graders. The very same day I did as principal. For me to say the class of 2017 holds a special place in my heart would be an understatement. Parents, you've entrusted us with the ultimate responsibility, the education of your children. Your children have spent countless hours on Central Avenue, interacting with the dedicated faculty, participating in our band and choir, actively involved in purposeful co-curricular clubs, and competed on our fields and courts. Of course, we're justifiably proud of our standardized test scores, college acceptances, as well as the achievements of so many co-curricular clubs, STEM, debate, math, science teams, an online newspaper, outstanding literary magazine, FBLA, DECA Club students competing at the national level, all-county and all-state band and choral students, artists being recognized at the state level, an all-school musical second to none, multiple exchange programs, and sectional and state championship athletic teams. But you know what? Even without these awards, I'd still be proud of these students being honored tonight, primarily because of the manner in which they represented themselves, their families, and the tradition at NVOT. Communicative, respectful, humble, courteous, and great character. But we as educators, parents, and community members still have a lot of work to do.